disagree totally with the argumentation of the prosecutor, the Attorney General, in this case, as the Chief Prosecutor. Open Bar Ministerial is in your hands. If there's so many reports available at your disposal, in the very near future, I'm going to see a lot of our politicians, top officials behind bars. Because the moment that an Attorney General makes these type of comment, because in my concept, he should have proof. If you have proof, then I am expecting to see a lot of people are going to go behind bars, because the way it's happening, it seems that corruption is rampant in St. Martin. But I think the Dutch is using this as an excuse, and we are afraid. Well, I am not afraid. I have absolutely no problems. But that is not the point. You can investigate MP Johan Janssen. I'm giving up my computer, my laptop. I want to give up, but that's not the point. If you don't have anything against the people, against me, I'm sure they don't have. But if they do have, come with the proof. And I will step back and let someone else sit in this chair.
The question then becomes, what's the ulterior motive of these individuals, whether it's Bowman or Scram? What is the, yes, it's Scram. What is the ulterior motives of these individuals? Are they intentionally trying to hurt us economically? Are they trying to affect our tourism and the way we do business on this island? Does it always lead to these instructions that they want to impose, whether it's financially or judicially? Because when you go out throughout history, you realize that their modus operandi has not changed. This is the way they choose to always recolonize. And if that's the intention, they should just say so that our people can be informed and make the right decision when the time comes, and it's coming sooner than we think.
As the minister stated, state your facts, etc., etc. But if you're going to look at St. Martin, look at yourself as well. And perhaps, Mr. Chairman, it's time for us as parliamentarians to also inform the people of what is going on in the Netherlands as well, because they have us stigmatized with this underworld when not looking at the underworld is rampant since the 18th century in the Netherlands, so they understand it perfectly well. I can also remember, Mr. Chairman, while living in the Netherlands, Peter de Vries. I used to call him one of my heroes because he actually did investigative research and brought many things into light, Mr. Chairman. I'm reading here, I can recall when they talked about when they kidnapped the Heineken owner. I can recall that. I can also recall, and it states here, there's something called the Happy Family in Amsterdam. I could go on and on and on, but it's just to explain the underworld. And the kings of the underworld, they live right in the Netherlands. So if you're going to look at us without coming up with proof and facts, then I ask the Attorney General to please, indeed, address the issue with Parliament, come to Parliament, talk to us so that we can also defend ourselves. But you cannot go in public and make certain statements like that as the highest level of legislator and expect us not to react. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, that has a negative effect on our economy. Say one, say two. When you put statements out of that with a position that you have, it brings a certain type of validity to it on the international level, and that does not reflect good on St. Martin.
In my opinion, the remarks made by the Attorney General are just as bad as the criminals that he prosecutes. Because you have done a crime to the country of St. Martin. You have done a crime to the people of St. Martin. In the rest of the world, the lawsuit would have been also engaged against probably the Ministry of Justice for allowing a person from the Ministry of Justice to make that statement. because it goes very far-reaching consequences. Today, with the internet the way it is, today with CNN and the world news, you can hear a whole investigative report come about St. Martin, where people then are now scared to invest in the country because of the remarks made by the Attorney General. When you look back into history of the world, and you look back at history in terms of how to destabilize countries, you have seen different kinds of methods used. And I am looking at probably then this is one of the methods that continue to destabilize St. Martin. But now you're not only destabilizing basically the political part of the country, but you're also destabilizing the entire economy of the country. So forget about only coming after the politician and make sure these cases go on for 8, 10 years. So to make sure to put a slap on that person's face so that they can't run again or they can't profile themselves the way that they want, it is called intimidation. But you are now intimidating the entire country.
I mean, people of St. Martin, there is an agenda, a systematic agenda to bring this country on its knees at whatever cost. And we as a parliament, we are responsible for even those persons who don't know what's happening, or who don't understand, who feel that they are doing the right thing. We have to protect them against themselves, because we know what is taking place, Mr. Chairman. The Chairman, the motion is coming, and of course, it has my full support. But I want to remind us that this will not be the end. Because if we know how the Dutch function, they are meticulous, they are consistent, and they will not relent. Very persistent. So if we think it is over, it is just the beginning. And this parliament has to set a foundation for those to come that will not relent, will not pull back, but will go forward, ensuring that St. Martin is run by St. Martin and not the colonial powers that are across the water.
But when the Attorney General, who is appointed position, not a political position as is stated before, whose fact that he is Attorney General alone gives credibility to statements made, then that Attorney General has, in my opinion, a very heavy responsibility to make sure that the statement he makes is based on facts, not on perception, on facts. That is his position. And as I've stated before, and if you have those facts, you also have the instrument to combat that type of crime that you say is there. That's why we have public prosecutors, that is why we have detectives, that is why we have police officers, that is why we have judges, and that is why we have a criminal law and a law and criminal law procedures. You follow that and you do what you have to do. You do not ask permission of the Minister of Justice of St. Martin. You have the authority to go and do what you have to do. There's no need for an Attorney General to go out and make those kind of statements, because the statement itself does not solve the problem. It is action that solves the problem. And that is his role, to take action, and you have those facts. Point is, however, in this case, those facts he does not have. And I state that unequivocally, because if you had those facts, then in the meetings that I've had with you, you should have presented them to me as the Minister of Justice responsible for security and safety of this island. Then the Joint Detective Team should have presented that to me in the criminaliteitsbeeldanalyse, or the criminal picture of the country. Or the police force should have presented that to me. It has not happened in the time that I was here, and I'm quite sure it did not happen to the previous minister as well. So, in my opinion, you can have a perception. Stronger, you can have suspicions. But when it comes to these things, you need to have proof, because that is the only thing that will stand up in a court of law. Mr. Scrum is not registered in the civil census of St. Martin. Simple as that. He does not live here. He bases his stories on the perceptions that live in the Netherlands. And be careful, they do not only live by the members of Parliament, Bosman and Farage. Those perceptions live also by the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, by the Minister of the Interior and Kingdom Relations, and by the Minister of Security and Justice of the Netherlands. And he looks at their eyes and portrays himself accordingly. And that is easy, because why? The system is rigged. Mr. Skram is the Attorney General of Curaçao. He's the Attorney General of Bonaire, Saba, and St. Eustatius. And he's the Attorney General of St. Martin. He thinks that he has one district. That is not the case. But the point is, he's appointed by kingdom decree. And based on a proposal by the Ministers of Justice of the 3 countries involved. But he can only be dismissed based on a proposal of the 3 Ministers of Justice from those 3 countries as well. And the leading factor, as we know that in this aspect, is the Minister of Security and Justice of the Netherlands. And if he has the support of the Minister of Justice of the Netherlands, then I can jump high, I can jump low as a Minister of Justice, I can ask for his resignation, I can propose to fire him. It will not happen. Let us not fool ourselves. It will not happen. That does not mean, however, I have to accept, and St. Martin has to accept, unqualified statements on the integrity of St. Martin by an Attorney General who does not justify that by facts. And in fact, like I said before, be still, and if you have those facts, go to court.
Vitamalt takes care of you. And now, check under the marked caps for a chance to win prizes. More detail on press.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
LBC.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
basketball once again.
LBC.
Check it out.
Yeah.
LBC.
It's okay.
That's right. Bring your friends and your family.
I hope you've all had a good time. I'd like to start off by firstly thanking a few people. Number one is, and the bar could close down a bit. Number one to thank is our sponsors, without who we would definitely be in the red. We are in the red anyway, but it doesn't matter. It all helps, both large and small. Secondly, I'd like to thank our volunteers who came out. Thirdly, I'd like to also thank the players who came. You guys came. Some of you knew the state of the course, but you supported, and we appreciate that, and we try to provide for you an enjoyable weekend, which I hope we did. Fourthly, I'd like to thank the board of the St. Martin Golf Association. I was the only person on the board who actually qualified to pay ECJ. So I had 5 and 6 other people who did all the work, and they didn't even get to play. So I think I'd like a big round of applause for them. There is one more thank you, and this is for 2 people who, neither one who are on the board, but who I swear did not sleep, and I didn't sleep with either one of them, for the last month and a half, who did everything that is humanly possible to make this tournament something for all of you, hopefully, to remember. And that is Gitta Poulsen and Howard Holden. They are 2 amazing people who made this tournament what it was under the circumstances. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce Joan, who's ex-secretary, who's going to announce all the prizes, and you're going to get them from me, so tough luck.
Okay, players, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody, sorry about being here tonight. I'm afraid Julie had a slight accident and I'm taking over from her just for the evening. And before we start prize giving, may I, on behalf of all of you here, thank the St. Martin golfers, executive, organisers, everybody else. The prizes. We're going to start with the ladies, and the ladies' second net, Maria Prendergast from St. Thomas, 144 on account bag.
I don't know, there's so much paparazzi.
Second gross, Julia Stevenson from Barbados, 165. And the ladies' first net, Joe DeLay from St. Kitts Nevis, 142. Woo! Your first gross, Maiva Van Overschelt from Martinique, 155. Okay, you've all enjoyed the ladies. We're now going on to the old men. And the oldest of the lot, super senior men, second net, from St. Martin on 143, Keith Graham. Really? Second gross, from Antigua on 161, Patrick Ryan.
Good job, second place.
The men's first places, first net with a score of 417, St. Martin. Champion for 2015 with a score of 444, Antigua. Team winners. Combined team first net for 2015 with a score of 1,122, St. Martin. class winners with a score of 1,281. I don't know what you guys are standing over there jumping up and down for. St. Kitts Nevis.
Please don't come back, you know. And I wish you all a successful and safe return home. And some of us will see you next year, wherever that is.
Although the golf course was in the condition it did, I want to say for the hospitality of St. Martin, very well done by the hosts here. Teams, let's give it up for St. Martin. Give it up for St. Martin. Well done. Well hosted tournament. Very well hosted tournament. Awesome. Thank you.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.